All righty. Well, we are live. A lot to discuss today, guys, in free agency, and the draft's going to be happening. We got a little time to talk about draft, but free agents market is heating up now, folks. So March 13th, everyone has to be underneath the salary cap. So
yeah, and the Chargers got a lot of work to do with that salary cap situation.
Luck.
They've done almost nothing, actually.
Yes.
To be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Corey Lindsey got restructured.
Yeah.
But the Broncos did something, right? Looks like I think this meme is so hilarious. It's like so perfect. Oh my goodness. I just think it's perfect. It's such a perfect meme, dude. And I'll tell you, man, it'd be really interesting to see what happens. But again, Kendricks, we did free up some money with Kendricks. Obviously, Corey Linsley's already, no longer on the team. So there's a lot for us to discuss, guys.
Yep.
So
no Kendricks.
Let's get into it.
I'm Deion Henley. You watching the Boat Bros podcast? Let's do it!
Oh, I like that intro. Kyle, I had some funny thoughts on a couple of different intros we should talk about. I was thinking about doing we should do what's it called? With American Ninja Warrior, or like swinging through ropes and stuff like that. If you come out here, we should all do that. That'd be super funny.
Okay. All right. That'd be crazy. That'd be cool.
Let's go to a jungle gym somewhere, dude, at some park and just sit there.
Hey,
the monkey bars doing pull-ups or something, dude.
Hey, we could just go to Muscle Beach. How about that? Like in
do some curls, be like, oh yeah, check this out. What's up?
Right? Yeah. Wear some booty shorts and roller skate down the beach, something like that.
I don't know about all that. Okay.
Yeah. Dude, you could get the brisket broads to be in there too in the background.
Oh, there we go.
Dude, how funny would that be?
Yeah, that'd be good.
I like that. Yeah, Jerry Jeudy got traded to the Browns. Yeah, and we all thought that might have been Mike Williams, but clearly it was not. So, Yeah, pretty interesting situation, guys. Free agent's going to be interesting. Free agency is going to be interesting, guys. I mean, there's going to be a lot to discuss on that. We got a lot of free agents on our team that we can sign, guys. We've done almost nothing, right? So we're still we did sign these guys.
Yeah,
Dicker the kicker.
Terrell and Dicker the kicker is back. Mandatory to be able to get Dicker back.
Yep, got to keep Dicker.
And Foster Sorrell is a stud, dude. He was a very high recruit. I think he'll do very well in this system. I think he'll be okay. Right now, again, the big question is Trey Pipkin's going to be our guy? But Foster Sorrell could be the guy too, right? So, and James, as you and I were talking today, when I was dominating you at pickleball, remember that?
Boy. Oh boy.
You remember that? Yeah.
Hey,
I mean, he didn't want to talk about it, but that's cool.
You ain't if you ain't got video footage of it, it didn't happen.
Yeah, it never happened, dude.
Oh, it did happen. Yeah, I was gonna say it did happen. Yeah. But our boy McFadden played right tackle as well too. So there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah.
So again, I think a lot of things can be done with this team, but free agency is what's going to be happening now. Then the draft will really give us a good idea of what we're going to go after. So,
I mean, to that point about McFadden, I mean, I watched the highlights of McFadden, and the guy played left tackle and right tackle, and I thought played extremely well last year as a guard too. So I think McFadden could make a big push this year to potentially try to find a way to be able to get a starting position or at least be in the rotation like he did last year. So the more and more we're kind of going into this free agency thing, the more I'm kind of thinking, I don't know if we'll go right tackle by any means. So we'll see.
Yeah. But again, a running game, which Justin Herbert has not had his entire 4 years in the NFL, folks. I mean, think about that. Horrible defense and a horrible running game. It was all on him. And I thought a lot about this too with we'll talk more about that when we go into the quarterback free agents, but again, not really quite sure who we're going to sign for that, but here's where we're at right now. And I know, James, you wanted to talk a little bit about the salary cap situation and where we're at here. So, let's see.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is we're still $21 million over the salary cap, and that's actually after we signed Dicker and Foster too. So it added a little bit of cap space to us, but at the same side, 21 million could basically be washed out by one move, and that could be like Khalil Mack. I think even almost like Mike Williams getting moved. There's a lot of things that are going on there, and to be honest, like the whole thing I'm looking at and why we haven't made any moves, I'm assuming that we're having conversations with these players and saying, hey, look, man, we want you on this team. Now, what do we got to do to make it work for you and make you feel comfortable with whatever salary you want to get paid? And then it's probably like, if we can't make that happen, well, we'll probably let you go and let you walk, whichever way you want to go. I do think that like Joe Ortiz and Jim Harbaugh are creating a culture, guys. It's cool to see like players on their Instagram saying like, who's got it better than us? And like saying all these things. Like a lot of these guys are bought in. They know what they're getting with Jim Harbaugh. So that's where I've talked a lot about the whole Jim Harbaugh effect, potentially getting discounts essentially on players. So
the Jim Harbaugh effect. I like that. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let the powder
blues fool you, baby.
That's right.
Yeah, and again, what if you could do that? Well, again, I think we rolled over 59 million. So that is money we can immediately pay players. So if we wanted to keep Bosa, Mack, things like that, we could say we could contract and say, hey, here's some cash now. But again, it makes us pretty cash poor for next year. Well, not really next year, because we're gonna have a lot of money next year. But lot to discuss. And Larry says Mack is going to the Lions. I don't know.
And that's been a big rumor for a while.
I don't like
that would make sense. Put them back in the NFC. They got a fair amount of cash to spend. That makes a ton of sense, but nothing's official right now, guys.
Right.
It ain't official, dude.
Yep.
I don't want Mac to go to the Lions. I want him to stay. I mean, I'd rather have him stay than Joey Bosa, to be honest, like production wise,
I agree.
Hell yeah, dude. He's amazing.
And the big thing about it is that like he's later in his career. And I'm sure he's probably like, do I want to move somewhere else? Do I want to do that? Like, how many millions of dollars do you need to be happy in life, by the way? Like, is it really like, oh, no dough, no show?
That's right.
No dough, no dough.
That's right.
Three amigos. So what is it like? How many millions do you need to be able to be content on this team? You got a legitimate shot to be a contender if you stick around. Like, be on a contender. Like, I mean, why do you really need that $30 million or whatever it is? Like,
no, I mean,
come on, man.
I mean, that's my thoughts on like quarterbacks as well. So much is like a lot of quarterbacks are typically unproven. They haven't really done a whole lot, but they're still asking for, $50 to $60 million per year. Like, I think the rumor is that Dak Prescott's going to get a $60 million a year contract. And I'm like, dude,
seriously?
Yeah.
$60 million? A rumor of that. Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
Jerry Jones is ridiculous to try to throw that kind of money at Dak. Dak ain't that dude.
Yeah.
He ain't that dude.
But look at that. I mean, Tom Brady, he never got paid more than $25 million a year. And he actually said in interviews, because he knew that he needed the team to have a budget for other players to pay, so they can actually have good players on the team.
Well, even take that a step further, we'll chat about him later on, but Chris Jones, like, that's a big, big contract. And there's $30 million base type contract that's kind of average per year type contract with him.
Right.
He's going to ask a lot of money. They don't have a lot of money, by the way. And so, a lot of that money's tied up in Kelsey and Mahomes. Mahomes has to find a way to basically push a little bit of money back into the system for him. So,
yeah. Well, and Mike Williams, guys, we all know what Mike Williams could do on the field when healthy. And, but the problem with this team has been we have not had a lot of depth. And I mean, look at this right here. Again, if the guy can stay healthy, dude, he's a difference maker, man. And, those 50-50 balls, he could do a lot, right? So we're kind of hoping, I'm hoping we say Mike Williams. I mean, I love the guy to death.
Yeah.
Dad bod Mahomes. Yeah. His,
right.
I mean, for sure, dude. Like, goodness.
Yeah, with Mike Williams, man.
I'm trying to find a funny laughing one. I couldn't find a laughing one here.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well.
There we go. Much better. I like that one.
There you go.
There you go. Good job, Miguel. Yeah, but again, we'd love to keep Mike if we can, But then with Khalil Mack, dude, return of the Mack, dude. I'll tell you what, man.
Well, and just to go back to Mike Williams, so that whole Jerry Jeudy situation, that kind of there was a lot of talk about him going to the Browns. Didn't happen, and probably they offered the 5th and the 6th pick for Mike Williams, and Chargers probably didn't take it, or maybe we're asking way too much for him.
Right,
but I also saw that the Jets are pretty high on him now. And so an article came out about that the Jets are pretty high on him and signing him to kind of a friendly based contract for the Jets. So we'll see where that pans out. Maybe it's like an extension of some sort to what they currently have, kind of spread the money out a little bit for them. So
yeah,
keep an eye on it, guys. Honestly, there's a lot of chance that things could happen while we're on this live, by the way.
They
have to get compliant by the 13th, I believe, by 4 p.m. Eastern time. So, so it's coming up.
Yeah.
So it's the 11th. I'm sorry. It's the 11th that they got to get compliant.
Keep.
It's the 13th because it's the actual official day.
Keep refreshing Twitter. We'll get something there.
Yeah, we need to power everybody up, dude. We got to power up the team, guys. You know what I'm saying?
Man. It sounds like you're playing those sounds through a Tamagotchi or something like that.
What the hell's a Tamagotchi?
Oh, you don't remember those things?
Oh,
dude?
you don't remember that? Dang, dude.
Little pocket little things, dude.
Little pocket, maybe a Game Boy or something like that.
Yeah, Game Boy. There you go.
Game Boy. That was my jam, dude. My jam. So the question is about Bosa, dude. I mean, by the way, he looks like what's that guy's name? Matuzak, whatever. You remember him? He used to be a football player. He was on Revenge of the Nerds. He looked a lot like him.
Oh, yeah.
Come
on. Don't they call him Ogre?
Yeah, Ogre. Yeah.
They call him Ogre.
I met Ogre multiple times at this one job when I was living out in Redondo Beach, dude.
Didn't you meet Booger?
No, I make Ogre, dude. Not Booger.
Yeah.
Ogre. Man, the same guy that was in Bloodsport, dude. The big old dude.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
So, I met him multiple times, dude. He's a funny dude. So
pretty good dude.
Yeah, good dude.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens with Bosa. And again, I would love to run it back one more time, dude. Bottom line, it'd be great if we could. But guys, I'm hearing rumors he's going to go to the Niners. What do you guys think? What do you guys think in the chat, man? I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. But by the way, you saw how many freaking comp picks the Niners got? Like 5 of them, dude.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. And I've been saying for the longest time, if Joey Bosa is going anywhere, he's going to go play with his brother. He's later in his career. Yeah. Makes total sense. They got all these comp picks now. Comp picks are free picks to do whatever you want to fill a lot of gaps in your team. If you want to give up a couple picks, hey, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. But, at the same side, I do think that Joey Bosa really would like to stay here. Now, once again, dude's got to stay healthy. That's the whole common theme of this whole thing. We have such an issue of staying healthy, and that guy specifically cannot stay dang healthy. So it's wild.
So I guess the big question is, do you think we can get Ben Herbert to power up Joey Bosa?
Man.
That still sound like a Tamagotchi.
What is that?
That's the factor. I mean, he needs to be able to really get this dude in shape. He needs to. Well, actually, I think in the video on Chargers Weekly on Friday, they talked a little bit about Ben Herbert and just saying, hey, look, that's the massive X factor to this whole team. Massive X factor. And as we've had so many issues with injuries, I mean, it's kind of hard to just not get a guy injured on field, but at the same side, you could prep a body to be able to be conditioned correctly to be effective. So Ben Herbert's going to be a big player in this game, guys.
But here's the thing, though, too. It's I mean, I understand that Ben Herbert is the best in the game on that stuff, but he's been working with college-level players, people that don't have a lot of wear and tear on the engines and stuff like that, So these players like Joey Bosa, Mike Williams, and, other people out there that are just constantly riddled with injuries, those things stack up. And, you can't really prevent that from happening because every single time they get a surgery or anything happens, their chance of being 100% is degraded every single time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's something that Ben Herbert can't fix. It's not possible unless we find the fountain of youth and have them all drink that. Like we should go on a massive journey for the Chargers and find El Diablo.
I want to find a fountain of youth, dude. I'll get back in my 20s, dude.
Yeah, dude. Hey,
let's go.
Let's do it. Let's go. All right, bro, go on a trip to South America. We're gonna find El Diablo.
Joey Bosa is gonna have the last laugh.
Man, I should change that password, man.
This guy over here, dude.
This guy over here.
Hey, whatever, bro. Whatever, bro.
You already have a problem enough touching all the buttons with all the comments and stuff, so like,
yeah.
That's funny. Hey. So let's talk about some of the other free agents, some of the lesser free agents on our team. But this guy right here, Justin Hollins, probably won't get re-signed. But he'd be a depth piece. I don't know. I mean, there's some things about him I like. I think he did a good enough job. But I probably don't think he'll get re-signed. What do you guys think? Do you think there's a chance he gets re-signed? What do you think in the chat as well?
Yeah, it's all about finding system fit. So it's really going to be whatever works for the system. I mean, Joe Ortiz has talked a lot about that. I mean, it's about finding guys that are system fits. Guys that have a role on the team in some level. So, who knows? I mean, the thing is, though, we're probably going to not end up having a ton of salary cap. So you're going to probably see some cheaper signings. Yeah.
Right.
And I like Austin Johnson, but I don't think he's going to be around. So, he's, he had that horrible leg injury. I don't think he was really the same. Yeah. I just don't think he's going to be the guy, but dude, when he was out there, he did great. He got paid a lot of money, folks. He got paid a lot of money. Right. And there's one thing I will say. I do think that Telesco paid some of these guys a little too much, and they kind of threw a lot. And you're right, too old, right? So, hey, man, age catches up to you, dude, for sure.
It's crazy is he's only 29. So, I mean, he'll be 30 going into the year, but I mean, it's not like he's like that old. But maybe it's like a Christian Covington type signing. Maybe we get him for $1 million and just add it to the depth of the D line. But, once again, it's system fits. I mean, Jesse Minter's got an idea of what he wants as players. And so, I mean, would he fit? I'm not really 100% sure. So,
I mean, going back on that Tom Telesco comment, I mean, like it was pretty clear to me, and I think Pigskin Addicts pointed this one out too a lot way back in the day too, is that Tom Telesco was definitely giving the Chargers the middle finger on the way out the door by like signing all these contracts with these players, like making them have only 5 players or basically $150 million salary this year. It's like, oh my gosh. We can't have a football team with 5 players, bro. What the hell are you talking about?
Can't do it. Yeah. And that was the biggest problem. And I get it. They're great players, but dude, terrible. And by the way, they did just release Tillery, I think today, right?
Yeah. Speed bump is gone, dude. I mean, Telesco's like, hey, I can't have that guy around here. See you later, knucklehead.
Yeah, he sucked.
Don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you.
Yeah. That's right.
Yep.
That's a failure soundtrack. Just failure. So you guys know. Failure. Epic fail. But I like this guy, Josh Kelly, man. Let's re-sign him. Look at his guns, dude. Look at that, bro.
Look at that guns, baby.
We'll have to call him Blade because he's so cut. You know what I mean? I mean, come on now.
Dang, bro.
And you could probably get him for cheap too. I mean,
dude, he hasn't played much. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think the problem is though too is like what we're not really paying attention to is that the second contract for players is always their biggest contract though, no matter what their production is. And it's really not the players pushing that, it's the agents.
Sure.
The agents are the ones. That's why we're seeing these quarterback contracts at $50+ million a year, So like I think if we did want to sign him, he's going to still be trying to get like $10 million a year.
No,
it's not him though. It's the agents. The agents.
Yeah, but there's no chance. He has had zero production. There's no chance he's going to get that.
Yeah. I mean,
he would maybe get $2 million. He'd maybe get $2 million.
Maybe $2 million.
No way.
We're talking maybe.
I don't think that would really work though.
I mean, his 2023 base salary is $1 million.
Yep.
And I mean, the amount of production that he had.
Yep.
You might get $1 million. again.
Yeah, but but he didn't really have a solid chance. He was behind Austin Ekeler the entire time. Like,
But
I mean,
production makes money, and if you don't have production, you ain't gonna get paid that kind of money.
Correct.
There's no way. 10 million would basically be something like a Josh Jacobs
or Derrick Henry,
a guy that's actually been there, done that kind of thing. So you probably would get him for like $1 million a season at this moment as a depth guy.
Yeah, and Isabella, they will sign more players. I think they got to figure out what's going to happen with Mac, Bosa, Williams, Allen. Those big contracts got to be figured out. Once that's figured out, we'll get more of an idea. But again, this is more of a discussion about people they could sign cheap. Yep. They could sign this guy cheap. And my argument has always been this. I don't know if you saw my video I did about a month ago. He's a gap and go guy. Yep. Remember, we're going to be running power, right? It's power, folks. It's going to be 2 tight ends, maybe even a tight end in the backfield. You're going to push a gap on the right side, A gap, B gap, second level, hit the linebacker and just power the ball forward. And that's how they're going to break your will. And my point is, Josh Kelly's a big dude. He's not small. Yeah. And so, but that's my point, right? Like you don't need to, yes, getting a new running back would be a good thing, but he's not bad for that system is what I'm getting at. And you can resign him for cheap. Why not? It's kind of my take on it. So,
yeah, I think he's like I think he's like 6 foot and like 210 or something that.
Yeah. Well, you met him. He's a big dude.
No, he's really tall. Yeah, like I mean, apparently Austin Ekeler is about my same height. Apparently, he's listed at 5'10", but he's actually 5'8". So
it's like the Kyler Murray effect. I'm 6 foot. I'm 6 foot. You see that dude? Oh, no way. He is not no 6 foot dude.
Yeah, exactly.
That guy is like 5'7", dude.
There's a whole funny meme about that on about like dating and stuff. He's like, oh, if he says he's 6 foot, he's actually 5'8".
Little Dicky. He's like, yeah. In real life, I'm 5'11". On Tinder, I'm 6 foot.
Yeah,
I think it's hilarious. Like that's literally one of the best like lyrics ever. So again, that's my take. Here's the thing: I want depth. Just get depth. I don't care about anything else. Now, this guy needs to be re-signed too. I think he was a great pickup. And say what you want to say, Jalen Hawkins was a good pickup from the Falcons, man. Again, depth. We're talking about depth, guys. These aren't going to be main starters, but they might come in certain package situations. Yep. And yes, the Saints did just sign Xander Horvath. Again, I don't suspect us going after a fullback at all. I think that we're just going to go heavy tight ends. Yep. I think no matter what, we're going to go for a tight end in the draft. Brock Bowers, who knows? We'll see. This guy.
And basically, Xander signed over there because our running back coach, Derek Foster, went over to the Saints. So keeping commonality. That's how it generally always works, guys. Yeah. Coaches have favoritism to players. Once again, the whole idea about Joey Bosa going to the Niners, who's over there? Brandon Staley's there now. Like, it makes total sense. So you expect the Raiders are going to want to go after their players there too. So it's like, they're going to want to go after more Chargers. So it's an interesting thing to see how it all pans out.
Right.
I'm curious what happens with Dean Marlowe.
I would be pretty pissed though to see if Brandon Staley tries to scoop up Deion Henley though. Like I want him to stay here. Yeah.
No, he's not going anywhere.
No.
Actually, Deion wouldn't want to do it because Brandon didn't know his birthday and stuff too. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, he's under his rookie contract. There's no reason to trade him off.
Right.
Yeah. So Dean Marlowe is a good veteran, but he's going to be more expensive.
Yeah.
So you got to ask yourself the question: Is he better? Now, Jalen Hawkins, I think, is probably better for the price. He did a good job, and then Dean, I think, actually played 16 games, 4 starts. So we got a lot out of him.
What's crazy to me is about Dean Marlowe. I mean, he signed a 1-year, $1.42 million contract.
Yep. Correct.
Excuse me. Actually, it was something to that effect. Actually, if I'm looking at over the cap, it was $1.08 million for him. But he's 32 years old. The whole safety market has gone wild for this free agency. I mean, it was over $100 million of salary shed just for the safety market. So there is a very, very interesting thing going on with the safety market to where I personally feel we could probably get a dog that's a little bit later on in his career for cheaper now. So Keep an eye out on that, guys. And we'll talk about some of the free agencies or free agents coming up this offseason too.
Yeah. And again, okay, so this is a good question here from Kevin. Based on free agent position costs, do you think we should target more dollar-friendly positions and draft high-value positions? Oh, yeah, 100%, right?
100%.
That makes perfect sense. So that brings up a great question. Maybe we'll pause for just a second here. That's exactly why drafting Brock Bowers 5th overall, if we stick and pick, doesn't make sense. Do you realize if we pick him there, just what he's slated at the 5th pick, he would be the 4th or 5th highest tight end in the NFL as a rookie?
Yeah.
So financially, it doesn't make sense. A wide receiver, a tackle, those guys get paid more money, right? So now that's why drafting back, if you could, trade. By the way, it is universally thought that the Chargers are going to try and trade back. So I promise you teams are going to try and go up there. Why do you think Jim Harbaugh's talked about J.J. McCarthy so much? You want somebody to go up there and try and go get him and, get somebody else there. So
and it's going to be interesting to see what really happens. If say, for instance, the Bears, we'll probably know here pretty soon, since they're the number 1 pick, they basically own how this whole draft's going to go at this point. If they say number 1, they keep Justin Fields and then they draft like Marvin Harrison Jr., that's going to shift everything. That 5th pick becomes valuable, extremely valuable at that point.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see where it pans out, guys. And it's exciting to think about it, but let's talk about some free agencies here. Yeah. Alohi. I think he needs to get signed. And I think he's an absolute stud. Now I'm going to say Alohi probably be targeted by the Niners. He will probably be targeted by the Raiders. Guaranteed. Guaranteed.
By the Raiders for sure. For sure.
Wherever Derek Ainsley went to, where did Derek Ainsley go to?
It's a good question there.
Let me look real quick. He moved over to.
For your question out, Aether as well too.
He's for the Green Bay Packers now. So
Ainsley is okay.
And he's an assistant, not a defensive coordinator. He's an assistant defensive coordinator.
Gotcha.
So keep an eye out for those guys. Obviously, once again, it all connects. Coaches love their players. They know the system. They try to put them together. That's why I feel like this draft and also free agency, you're going to see a lot of Michigan guys showing up here. Guaranteed.
Maybe even in free agency, too. You talked about one free agent, Cinter.
We'll talk about him later on, too. Yeah, we'll talk about it. He was on the list of players.
So, guys, do we re-sign Gilman? And in the chat, what do you think?
Totally. I think so. I 100% think so.
Yeah. And Aether, I got to give it up to you. You said he was going to have a good season. He did. And so I did not think he was going to be as good as he was. Again, I kind of felt like he was a bit unproven, but man, he did great. So
I think Aether is the one of the original Alohi crew people.
You are.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he really was. Yeah.
I'm actually just going to look to see what people are saying, like his contract value will be. I can't imagine it's going to be huge.
I think it was $2 million. $2 million a season. That's kind of what I was seeing. So,
about fair.
$2 million. See, that's my point, guys. Again, the way I've always looked at it. If I'm the GM, you don't need. And this is partially why I got a little frustrated with the amount of dollar contracts with Bosa, Mack, Williams, Allen. You had so much money tied up into these guys. Negotiate a little bit. It's almost like they didn't even negotiate with Mac. All right, Mac, what's it going to take for you to be over? He throws out a ridiculous number and they go, cool, we'll pay it. No, dude, like you're putting us in a bad position. So, but this is a great example. You could sign this guy too. Essang Bassey, again, he was kicking butt on the Broncos in preseason. They loved him in the preseason. And he made a couple of dumb choices, dumb plays, just a few little things he did wrong. I think on special teams, if I remember correctly. And so he lost favor with Sean Payton. They said, fine, we're done with you, yada, yada. But, dude, he played 11 games, 13 total tackles, 3 passes defended. He's a good, cheap, young player that you can get as depth. And that's what I think. So I like about it, right? So that's kind of my take on it.
Yep, and he'd be good for just a good slot kind of depth for us too, more or less. I mean, I just heard Taylor and Dean Leonard are like basically our only other cornerbacks outside of Asante Samuel Jr. on this team right now. So, but once again, it's system fits. It's finding that guy that's a role player on our team. Now, it could be special teams also too. So we have to think about that side of the game too. And Jasura has done a great job on the special teams with Dean, actually, believe it or not. So they've carved out a really nice role within this team.
Yeah, and again, are they starting number one cornerbacks? That's the question, right? You know, and I've always looked at free agency. When you look at free agency, that's basically a 1 or 2 year stopgap, right? You're just looking for something for a little while, right? So that's kind of my take on that. Now, let's say we stick and pick. I would say go Neighbors, in my opinion. You know, again, that's of course if Marvin Harrison's off the board, which I'm assuming he will be, but who knows? You know,
it's interesting that Preston basically brought up then Sanders in the second. You're talking about Shadur Sanders, right?
Shadur Sanders, yeah.
No reason to get him in the second.
I would think I've heard fourth or fifth, maybe. Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, quarterback's not a massive need for us. I mean, you know, one of the other free agents, if we don't have a picture of him, personally, I'd bring back our guy like Easton Stick. Like, I think he played perfectly fine. I just think he had nobody around him and enough weapons to be able to make it work for him. And he had competitive games against good teams. So I think he was perfectly fine.
Okay. Yeah. No, yeah. This guy honestly,
for me,
tight end. Yes.
Jatavian Sanders.
Sanders. I like that guy.
That's probably a third round pick for me, and at best, I would say. Well, I was just gonna say this though too. Like, I mean, if we're gonna stick and pick, I'm heavily leaning against or not doing wide receiver. I would say line for sure, because that fixes a run game, that fixes pass game in a lot of ways. But then again, too, I still would kind of say tight end is still a valuable pick for that one because it also adds a weapon. It doesn't move the needle super well for the run game or pass game as much, but it does still give a weapon too. It kind of checks all the boxes in a lot of ways.
Are you saying at fifth though, Kyle?
Yeah, I was saying at fifth for sure. Line over wide receiver. I would say, yeah.
I mean, like if you look at like Theo Johnson, who like killed it at the combine.
Yeah, he did great.
I mean, that guy, his RAS score is like high, extremely high. I mean, reliable hands, shows the willingness to make catches in traffic over the middle. More of a possession kind of guy, but at the same side, you don't necessarily have to be that blocker for the most part. You could chip players and help out the right tackle, left tackle. I mean, to be honest, Slater's going to be on an island, so it's really about just shoring up that right side. I mean, you could probably find some tight ends a little bit later on. I think, to be honest, this is a little bit better of a tight end class than you realize. And even AJ Barner, Michigan guy, that's a guy that's been in the system. And once again, there's going to be those guys that have been with Jim Harbaugh already that will find their way on this team. So, so absolutely.
Well, yeah. And so this is Aether's questions. Andrew, the Raiders call Chargers give him number 13 in the second round. And next year's first and third, we give up number 5 and 4th round. And I don't see the Chargers say no. I agree. More picks is a good thing, guys. And again, I've always looked at it this way. Free agency is kind of a Band-Aid. It gives you a player that you could use for a year or two. And then you really want to build in the draft because you can get them cheap. You can get them going. You release them, then they become comp picks, right? So that's the argument too, right? If you really think that like, you know, Alohi Gilman's going to do well wherever he gets signed, well, he's a comp pick. You know, they do great, and you get a comp pick out of it, right? And it's 7th round pick. By the way, Drew Tranquil gave us a 7th round pick. 253, I think, is the number we get off that. So, so that's okay. You know, it's a pick. You know, but it is what it is. Now, Will Greer, we didn't see much of him, but you know, he's on the team. Be interesting to see if we re-sign him. I'm very curious about that. I don't know if I really have an opinion one way or the other because we didn't see much of him at all, obviously. But you know, when he was on the Cowboys, he did fairly well.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, who knows where we're going to go with this? I mean, that could be a cheap signing too, also.
Yep. And then Jalen Guyton, very cheap, guys. We could probably sign him again for like $2 million a year, right? So, you know, Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of that trade. Again, more picks is always a good thing, and then build into next year is fine as well too. So again, you might even have somebody at 13 say, "Hey, I want to go up as well," and you could get some additional picks out of that. So,
yep. Well, and the one thing too about Jalen Guyton, I mean, we could probably get him cheap, but to be honest, I'd probably get Alex Erickson over him. Alex Erickson did a phenomenal job for us in clutch catches too.
Yep.
So I think that would be a better one. And if we draft a wide receiver, that wide receiver room becomes pretty stacked if we do let go of Mike Williams, which I assume that's probably going to be the case.
Yeah, and if we're talking if we're talking about like trading with the Raiders, I would definitely choose not to trade with the Raiders. If there was any other team gave another option and it was like equal, I would trade with the other team, not the Raiders personally.
So my response to him was, well, if you trade with the Raiders and you know they're going JJ McCarthy,
right?
Jim Harbaugh knows that guy quite a bit.
Yep.
Right. So if he basically hypes him up as, hey, he's a top, quarterback or whatever, Raiders get him. And Jim Harbaugh's like, perfect. Now I know that quarterback 100%. He's not as good as what they were thinking he is. We just fleeced the Raiders and we get to play that guy 2 times a year. Perfect. Excellent. It's like screwing them over basically with the quarterback that they were so needy to go with. And I'm pretty confident that Antonio Pierce told Telesco, we need to find that guy. And if it's going to be JJ McCarthy and say he's terrible, what if he's just an average quarterback at best?
$20 says the big reason why he was even hired as GM is because he's done very good at having quarterbacks for the Chargers, right? He had Phil Rivers, and then of course he didn't do anything to get Phil Rivers.
Basically,
he inherited him, but he picked Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert's been a dog, as we know.
I'll take that bet. I'll take that bet because actually what I think it was is that Tom Telesco was an undercover agent for the Raiders. Now, like 90% of our draft picks and 90% of our players went to the Raiders like after the first contract every single time. So that's what it really was, I think Tom Telesco was really just a secret agent for the Raiders.
Yeah. He's all about the boss battle.
Mm-hmm.
He's all about the boss battle.
That's right.
Failure. So I will say this: we need to re-sign Bosa too. I mean, I would like to re-sign Bosa, but dude, what if we get a 5th round pick out of him?
Yeah, restructure him. Yeah,
or restructure him. Yes, exactly. That's a good point too. But we need to re-sign this guy. You could re-sign him pretty cheap. He's a dog. Now he's not a great blocker, but he's an offensive weapon. And I'm going to say this too: when Herbert went down, he was probably the only one on the team on the offensive side of the ball that didn't give up, as well as Alex Erickson. Alex Erickson still went out there and played. Mm-hmm. So I like those two because they went out there and actually showed they can play, right? So I'm a big believer in that, right? And again, we all knew, hey, the season was over, but they still went out and played. What up?
Right. Aether's bold prediction there, basically saying the Chargers going to shock everyone and sign Patrick Queen to a 3-year, $42 million deal. And so the big thing about this, the Ravens chose defensive line over linebacker. They ended up signing Justin Mabuki, I think is how you say his last name. Who knows? I don't know. 4 years. Mabuki. They signed him for basically 4-year, $98 million. And they said, all right, see you later, Patrick Queen. And dude, I would love back when I think it was 2020 when he basically got drafted. I was like, I'd love it if they traded back in to get Patrick Queen. And what did they do? They ended up getting Kenneth Murray, basically. And so Patrick Queen would be an absolute stellar signing for the Chargers if that happens. I mean, once again, it's creating the Ravens West, basically. I mean, that would be phenomenal.
That's a huge deal, though, man. I don't know about that. I mean,
you got to just say, go back to what I was talking about, the Jim Harbaugh effect. Like the Jim Harbaugh effect could make people say, hey, look, I'll restructure my contract so you can bring in this guy. Like that's the whole thing. Like $42 million is not 1 year. It's over 3 years, basically. You could front load stuff. You could basically, I mean, if you even look at his contract, Mabuki's or whatever his last name is, I can never say the dude's last name. It's a very front-loaded based contract. It almost technically is like a 1-year based contract extension. So there's ways that you can move money around. We have a ton of money going into 2025. So keep that in mind. We could move money around quite a bit.
I mean, I guess if they structure the contract, it's like it's cheap this year, more next year, and more next year. So it's like $5 million this year, the 15 the next year, then 20 the next year or something like that, that could still work,
Yep.
That could 100%,
Dang, $20 million for a linebacker.
It's a lot of money.
He just said 42 million on 3 years. Like how do you expect that to happen? Like
like 15 mil basically.
Yeah, 15 mil. Yeah,
15 and a half mil.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, but like I'm saying,
that's
it would
on
be
average though.
Yeah, like because we don't have a whole lot of space right now. That's what I'm saying. It's like so you give him like 5 million this year, 15 next year, and then 20 next year after to make up for that $40 million contract.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
Well, and again, right now we don't have that much money anyways, right? So some things need to change quick, right? So, and again, guys, as soon as it happens, we're going to throw out some information on that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everyone wants Saquon Barkley. Everyone's still saying he's the best guy. Personally, I think Josh Jacobs is the best guy, but he's a Ray turd, so we don't really like that, But
so Khalil Mack was a Raider too, though. So
well, that's true. That's true.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter much. I'm fine taking players from the Raiders because then we can get a little bit of inside information. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they just a bunch of buses, but and Saquon Barkley, dude, man, he's something else, dude. Yeah. How many teams need a quarterback this year? Let me think.
So Broncos, Steelers. I mean, it sounds like the whole thing about Russell Wilson is kind of moving along in that direction. I mean, you could technically even say the Giants. You could technically say, I mean, obviously the Commanders. You could say the Bears. You could definitely say the Patriots. I mean, there's a fair amount of quarterback needy based teams. So probably about 6 that I could think right off the top of my Vikings, another one too.
Vikings,
yeah.
So there is quite a bit of Falcons. Falcons is another one too. I don't imagine they're going to stick with Riddler over there. Riddler. I call him Riddler all the time.
the
Ritter.
Hey, Batman takes him out all the time.
That's right.
I think they might keep him for another couple of years or something like that. The same thing with freaking the Raiders. Like you got Farva over there.
Rodney Farva.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, I like this. So Mike Davis, apparently they are trying to restructure his deal or get a deal for him. Dude, he was getting paid money, bro, like $9 million a year, and that. Oof.
Yeah.
I mean,
the report is that we're trying to get a team friendly based deal with him. And look, we got really thin cornerbacks right now. I mean, there's not a lot in the cornerback side of things. So it would be good to be able to bring a guy back like this. And it's interesting, the last 3 years for him, he's had an on year, off year, on year, off year kind of situation. So it's like, you hope that this is going to be the on year type thing. And I was going to make a point that when Derek Ainsley was the defensive coordinator, he was a lot more aggressive looking at the line. He was pressing a lot more. I think that's the way he needs to play. Stop playing this off coverage business, dude. And I don't imagine Minter doing that at all. And this guy right here, we got to get him back, dude. I mean, this guy was a great depth for us, good signing for us. I'm sure he even signed on like a practice squad type contract with Alex Erickson.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd love to keep him on. He did some good things. Plus, he's also punt returner too. So what if our boy Lightning Bug is hurt? You know what I mean? So,
right.
Aether's, whoa boy, just blocking the whole thing.
Yo, dang,
yowzers!
You got all caps.
All caps,
all caps, dude.
Aether's angry. What's going on? Aether's on one today, dude.
Yeah, that's what
double the meds, Aether.
That's right.
Double the dose.
So Chargers can we please stop with the stop sign? Giving this clown emoji. Tommy T, credit for drafting Herbert when all the credit goes to the Dolphins, passing up on Herbie. Thank you, Miami Chargers fans. Stop. Yeah, I mean, he fell in his lap, right? He fell in his lap, got lucky.
I mean, I don't know if it was also that though too. It's like, I mean, I feel like a lot of talk with Dan Fouts played a massive role into that one. I really do think that, Dan Fouts was kind of whispering in the ear of Spanos to be like, hey, look, this guy, Justin Herbert, is your guy.
He's a dog.
Dan Fouts knows his dad. They played together. And, obviously Dan Fouts was Oregon alumni, always going there, kind of hanging out with Justin. He knew Justin Herbert was a Chargers fan years and years. Like, he kind of like maybe, I guess the wrong term is grooming, but I don't know another term to say it. But but he kind of, I guess he farmed him. I guess that's the better term. He farmed him and built him to be a Charger. I feel like So I want to give Dan Fouts a hug for giving us Justin Herbert.
Yep. Well, and then one thing too, I heard somebody said the draft is rigged, and I was like, oh, hey, could be, dude. I mean, hey, NFL loves drama, right? NFL loves drama, so why not? What if it's just serendipitous? Let's make sure Justin Herbert goes to the Chargers. He said in a paper in his elementary school he's going to play for the Chargers in Los Angeles. Wow, wow, we got to make that happen, guys.
Matt says Sproles will forever be lightning bugged. Oh, I love me some Darren Sproles, dude. He was the man, dude. Oh, yeah. Restructure free up some cap space. Well, he just got signed, so probably not. At least not now. Maybe in a couple of years. I think in 2028, something like that, is when he starts having real money pop out. But then that's when the restructure will matter.
Yeah, I think he wants
to. Diana Rossini, which is a person I think for ESPN, just tweeted 5 minutes ago. Chargers are open to trade offers for many veteran players, including Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack. Per sources, there are teams interested, but many around the league are willing to wait to see if the Chargers cut them soon. So, I mean, to be honest, it's kind of like known already. I think that's already been out there. And I think that's the reason why Chargers have not done a whole heck of a lot of moves. I mean, they have to be compliant when the league starts in March 13th. So they have to find a way to basically cut that salary, because what if they're asking for high level picks and people are like, nah, I think you're just going to cut the guy anyways. So
that's true.
Either you want to cut him, or if you want to give me a pick and take his salary, cool, even better. It helps us out. So we'll see where it goes.
I bet you anything though, no team's going to want to take all the salary on him.
No.
They would probably take, half of it, I suppose, and we would still be paying for him to go somewhere else though, so in a lot of ways, it may just be more advantageous for us to just cut him, just to let him cut bait, and just let him walk, go find somewhere else to do. But we can't really, I guess we can, but then there's probably some kind of cut clause that he has, he's still going to get paid a lot.
There's no cut clause. It's there. I don't know. I don't think that's even a term. So it's you don't have to pay him. You cut him at whenever you feel like cutting him. But you have dead cap money that you have to pay.
God, dude, man, that's so. This business is so brutal. I can't believe that though. It's just that's
part of the contract. Yeah, but that's why Lamar Jackson wanted guaranteed money, because that's guaranteed money, right?
Yes.
But when you it's very different, right? So that's why the Patriots were always incentive based contracts, right? So, there's a lot to discuss about that. Wilson, So these are some running backs right now that are out there, But again, we can't really do anything until money starts freeing up, right? So that's got to happen pretty quick.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. So, and I mean, some of these lists of guys like Zach Moss, you probably get them for $2 million a season. Tony Pollard wants to go back to the Cowboys. Now, what will he get? Austin Ekeler kind of talked about how he wanted to be a Charger, but I mean, he's probably going to ask for $7-8 million a season. I mean, what was the guy that AJ Dillon has been kind of linked a little bit to the Chargers too? Big bruiser kind of back guy. I don't think he's the fastest dude, but that's one of those guys that are out there that are kind of connected. I think Zach Moss makes the most sense in my opinion. I think he had a good year, and you could probably get a high level production with him. Plus, our running back coach coached him at Utah, so that makes a lot of sense. Connections, once again, guys, it's all connected somewhere or another.
Now, I don't think we're going to go after a wide receiver, most likely. I mean, this list isn't very exciting.
No,
in my opinion. And I think at the 5th pick, we might just say, screw it. Let's just go get a wide receiver.
Yep.
You get a Malik Neighbors at 5, or man, if Marvin Harrison's there, he's a hard person to pass up, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Now, I think the tight ends become a little more interesting. Noah Fant, Gesicki. Again, I think we just re-signed Gerald Everett for sure, because you could probably get him pretty cheap. But Troutman's a good blocker. I know that. Gesicki's good.
Hooper's pretty good as a tight end too. Now, I do think that you kind of also say, hey, I could get a guy in the 4th or 5th round as a tight end that could actually be a pretty good player. I mean, if you look at a lot of the guys that are out there, they're top tight ends. They're not high-level picks generally too.
No.
So you could get guys in the 5th, 6th round that are good dudes. I'm kind of it'd be more of a gap filler type situation. We do have Parham right now. We do have, oh gosh, who's the corner or tight end for some reason? My mind's passing me by, but the guy who converted to a wide receiver or quarterback.
Oh my God,
whatever.
You're killing me. You're
killing me, Smalls.
In the chat, let us know who that is. Oh my gosh, why am I drawing a blank?
I can see him right now. Anyways, we got some guys there, and I think that we could probably just get a little bit more youthful on that side of things, and just draft another tight end. I mean, Kelsey was like
But see, that's the thing though too. We've had gap fillers for tight end position for the past like 3 years right now. I mean, Everett, he's been great, but and I wouldn't want to call him a gap filler, but like he's not been someone that's going to grow with Justin Herbert, like that's the whole point, like, I mean, Kelsey and Mahomes, like they have like a huge buddy system. I think they even live like right down the street from each other to kind of like do drills together every once in a while, so I want someone like that has a relationship like that for Justin Herbert. Go freaking fishing together, go deep sea fishing, go hang out, just get to know each other, be the best friends,
So, and again, there's a lot of tackles available as well too, right? So, there's a lot to discuss. And then Illuminor from the Raiders.
Yeah,
dude, he was. I think he was originally picked up by the Ravens. They drafted him, I think in 2017, something like that. But man, he's just kind of been a bust. I don't know. Not really a huge fan of that guy.
Yeah. I think we got a fair amount of going on with the tackle position, in my opinion, right now. Now the inside, starting interior offensive line guys, this is an interesting list, in my opinion. Andre James has been a guy from the Raiders. I don't know. We keep trying to go to Raiders. Now all of a sudden we're trying to be the guys taking ex-Raider players or whatnot. That would be a guy that would be good. What's interesting about this list is if you look down below to number 10, I believe it is, down to Mitch Morse. So he's already had a couple people look at him. I believe it was Pittsburgh that looked at him already, and I think he was going to one other place too. I mean, he was a starting center for the Bills. Great player. He was basically a guy that could be one of those guys that, I mean, I personally think he's going to get kind of a high-end type of contract, but maybe he'll get a 1 year, 2 year. That's going to be like a $5 million base contract. If you look at also one guy who is not on there is, once again, I'm going to say, connect Michigan with Michigan-based players because we got Jim Harbaugh there. Steelers let go Mason Cole, who was a Michigan guy, and he had only like a 3 year, $15 million base contract. Why not? We go after a guy like that knows the system, that's been with Jim Harbaugh. You could possibly sign this guy for a cheap deal. We don't really have to deal with it in free agency. He did also have some pretty solid years where he's almost at the 70 PFF overall ranking of like 69 as a center. I think it might not be a bad idea to go with that. So who knows? I think there's some guys out there that we could fill the gaps in pretty well, right? Maybe even have a guy that for a couple of years in that center position. So I think that's another guy to keep an eye on. Mason Cole could be a cheap signing for us and a good signing for us for the center position too.
Yeah. I think there's a lot to be said about that, and again, the argument, again, we're going to do a mock draft at the end of this here pretty shortly too. We got a little bit more we want to talk about, but here's defensive line.
We have to make that a lightning round draft.
We'll have to go pretty quick. Chris Jones, dude, he's the big one, right?
Yeah,
he's the big one. Wilkins, good. Fletcher Cox getting a little older, but good.
And the thing about who was it? I think it was Pro Football Focus that talked a lot about Chris Jones, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I tagged that the Chargers are going to go ahead and get him," and I was like, "I don't know how we're going to be able to get that dude. Like, that dude's going to be $30 million a season for sure." Yeah. But he was like, "Look, the reason why you get him is because you hurt the Chiefs. I mean, that is one of their major captains that makes that defense work.
Mm-hmm.
That would be phenomenal to have, but it ain't gonna happen."
I mean, I don't really care which team he goes to, Chris Jones, but just as long as he's not in the Chiefs this next year, that's great.
Yeah, that'd be huge.
I want that whole team to be decimated. Like have him go everywhere, like all to the 4 winds of all the corners of the earth. Just like so tired of the damn Chiefs.
Tired of them.
Yeah,
Yep.
and by the way, just so you know, you let them walk, you can also get a comp pick out of them, right? I mean, it's the whole
And they
point.
will get a 3rd round comp pick out of that for sure.
A 3rd round comp pick, which is crazy, guys, right? So, guys, that's huge. It just makes Chiefs even better. So again, it's a money thing. You let them walk. Now, let's see. Strategery. Now, again, since we let our linebacker go, let's see who else. Like, dude, Patrick Queen, I'd love it. This is Frankie Luvu. He's considered the number 1 guy. And Bobby Wagner, he's going to come at a cost, but dude, there's Willie Gay is good.
I mean, some of those guys are later in their career, but they could be very, very manageable. Now, I do get a little leery about like signing these guys in their 30s and such. They got a lot of tread. That's basically, I mean, do they have any tread on the tires anymore? But they could be guys that could be good gap fillers for us. So those are the top 10 at the moment. I mean, I hate how we always let our linebackers go, and then it becomes an issue for us, and it is definitely an issue right at this moment.
Yeah, and cornerback, I don't know that we're going to go out for a cornerback. I would love to get Ladarius. I think everyone wanted to get him. Kendall Ford would be good. Gilmore,
Chudobi Awuzie or whatnot. I think is how you say his name. There was some talks about him getting traded to the Chargers. Now I don't know how he could do that when he's a free agent, but that's one of the things. Stephon Gilmore, man, that guy played really, really well still, and he's definitely getting up there in age, but he is one of those guys. I personally think that Michael Davis would probably end up re-signing with us at probably a team-friendly based type of contract.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, very interesting to see what happens with that. Safety, God, it should be really interesting. I mean, but dude, like, man, all these guys are pretty good. And he got franchise tagged. Okay, but there's a lot to be said about that. I mean, Quandre Diggs. Oof. Wow.
And Geno Stone is one of those guys that's from the Ravens, and he is one of those guys that makes a lot of sense for the safety side of things. Now, even adding on that list, we don't even have Alohi Gilman on there.
Yep.
Now, you would expect that he's not going to get paid a ton of money, by the way. And so this is going to be an interesting thing to see how these cornerbacks go, or how the safety market goes. A lot of talent got put out there and thrown back out in the safety market. Even Poyer from the Bills got let go too.
Yeah, Poyer.
There's a lot of guys out there. There is a great chance that we're going to get some sort of veteran for a cheap price.
Yeah. Oh, K9. You think he'll stay? Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Possibly.
Devin White is good too. Devin
White's a stud. I expect him to get paid. Like I just kind of didn't even want to say his name at all because it's just. Yeah, he's a great player, but he's going to get paid. I mean,
I like Uzma as well. He's pretty solid. I think, there's a lot of ways we can go, guys. And again, this center, I would like to see a veteran center and then someone they could bring up. That would be kind of nice.
Actually, I think Mitch Morse actually just is going to the Steelers somewhere else right now. Actually,
yeah, and the Steelers center is available now too. What's his name? I'm drawing a blank on
Morris headed to Jacksonville after completing a visit with the Steelers.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Yep. So Mitch Morse is not available anymore.
Oh no, he didn't sign. He didn't sign yet.
He did? Oh,
he's just going and visiting.
Oh, he's just visiting. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. So
he has to visit. Okay, got it.
Yeah. He's having a vacation in beautiful Pittsburgh. Oh wait,
now Jacksonville.
Well, now Jacksonville.
Hey, you know what? Taking it out of Ashley Williams from Ash vs. Evil Dead right there.
Yeah. That's right. Ashy Slashy.
Okay, so do we want to do a mock draft? We have time for that?
Yeah, if you want to do it real quick, totally
rapid fire one. Yeah, let's do
2 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, 2 minutes.
2 minute draft. How about just do an auto draft? Can you just do an auto draft and just do 7 and just see what the auto draft pulls up for us? I think that'd be kind of cool instead of us, because how long it's going to take us to figure out how to do this whole draft.
But then also, it could randomize what we get, because it's like, you know what? Let's just let it see.
Let's let the computer make the decisions, because guess what? It's going to be 7 hours later. We're still figuring out 7 rounds.
More than likely, everyone's going to say neighbors. We're going to say MHJ. It's like it's like, well, let's get some randomization here, because look, let's be honest. We all wanted Zay Flowers last year. We got Quentin Johnston, and like we were there's a tunnel vision that we get, like as Chargers fans, like about who we want. So we got to think outside of the box a little bit more.
Man, Pete's take right here. I'm hoping the Chargers trade Justin Herbert for a haul of picks and select JJ at 5 to rebuild the young talent.
Dang,
bro, that's
that would
crazy.
be insanity, bro.
Dude, I mean, you got to think. I understand. Jim Harbaugh worked with JJ McCarthy. I get it. You can't do that. You can't do that. What does he call him? The crown jewel. He's the guy. Like, you can't dump a guy like that. Think of how shocked the fan base would be.
Kick Pete out.
Like, holy smokes, man.
Yeah,
I mean, would be
part of the reason why Harbaugh came to the Chargers
is because it
was a Herbert.
And also Greg Roman said the same thing too. He's like, they're all huge fans of Justin Herbert and what he can do. So, yeah, that's a hard pass.
Yeah,
but
that's a big pass.
Yeah. I mean, I think my head would probably explode if that happened. To be honest, like it literally would. I would.
All Chargers fans' heads would explode. Yeah. So can you do auto picks on these then?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. Here you go.
I think you don't need to pick any.
You got the team? Okay.
Yep.
So guys, this is not our picks. This is the computer's picks. So
wait.
Whoa, but we get to choose this.
Oh
boy. So we could control this then, huh?
Oh, actually, wait.
I don't know. I think you have to not pick a team, to be honest.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we have to not pick a team. That's exactly how.
But then how would we know like what picks are what?
It just goes.
Go by a round.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's a good point. Yeah. So
there's got to be a way that you could auto draft it.
I think you can. Yeah. Let's just do this. And I think let's see enter draft. I think because I've never done an auto draft because I'm a.
Oh, look at it. It's going auto draft.
Yeah. But then I think you have to look at the actual full draft bit at the end here. Yeah. What's this weird? There we go. What's this weird banner right here? It's freaking aggravating.
What banner? I don't
see no
banner.
This white bar right here.
Yeah. So, Sean Payton is all in for McCarthy, and the Commanders are high on him too. Denver may try to trade up for him if Washington doesn't draft him. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely some thoughts there too. And I mean, we
got Marvin Harrison. What's up?
Wow, we got Marvin Harrison on the first pick at 5th. So once again, that's the whole thing. Well, I mean, I guess they took Drake May, TJ Tampa. Hey, quit going so fast, dude.
Hey.
So, I mean, you got basically Drake May at 1, which if you guys heard anything about what's going on at the combine, a lot of people were kind of a little turned off by Caleb Williams. So
he's a slime ball.
And then then Washington went with a tackle.
Fashanu right away.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the randomization of this thing, let me know.
Yeah. But I mean, you got to think
people could get a little turned off by Caleb Williams. Like, dude, he doesn't have an agent, and he's talking about wanting to be part owner of the team, dude.
Yeah,
crazy,
stupid,
crazy,
so dumb.
And then you also got Sam Howell over there. I mean, he's not like an elite guy, but he didn't play bad at all. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if they feel comfortable with going in with him, cool, great, move along. So yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. That would be awesome, right?
I'd be down with that.
So what's round 2 look like?
This guy right here, dude, that guy could be great too. See, again, if we trade, but see, actually, who got Bowers? Okay, so Falcons. That's probably not very accurate.
That's not accurate.
They would not go for Bowers. I mean, they got Pitts out there,
Yeah.
Oh man, JJ McCarthy got to the Raiders too in that draft for round 1 too.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but he's the Pitts.
He's the Pitts, dude. What do we got? TJ Tampa there. That's Was it a tackle or cornerback?
No, cornerback.
Cornerback. Yeah,
that's right.
Let me make this a little bigger.
I was gonna say I can't read that giant. There we go.
Yeah, I don't know what this banner thing is. It's really aggravating. It's really aggravating. I don't know what that's all about.
Oh well.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah. So you even had Trey Benson going to Green Bay. Junior Colston going to the San Francisco 49ers. That's a great move for them.
Mm-hmm.
Benson Note in second round. Wow.
Yeah. Apparently the combine, he moved up very quick on that.
Yeah.
And you remember he was one of my sleeper picks, guys, on when I talked about the tight ends, and I really thought he could move up, and he did. Guys, I know everything. Okay. I know everything. So
get out of here. Get out of here.
Hey.
Jeez.
Okay, so,
right, so
round three.
Third.
Third?
We said
nice.
You say round third?
Round third.
Round third.
So Cedric Van Pran, this guy's he's solid center.
And then looking at the Falcons, they end up going with another third round quarterback and getting Spencer Rattler. Now, Jatavian Sanders even gets at 80. This is such a crazy draft.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Rattler is a good player. I think he's kind of a little bit of a gunslinger, but I think he would be kind of an interesting one to see how he could develop over there. They got a great run game over there in Atlanta. They got 2 solid backs to work with.
Right.
Now,
so
remember
awesome.
guys, the draft is really going to be incumbent on what we do in free agency. We've talked about the draft way before free agency, which is a little bit backwards because the free agents, we're going to have a whole month before the draft even happens, right? So we pick up a center, then we're probably not going to get a center. Well, we might, but we won't get a center high,
Mm-hmm.
We might want to start putting like McFadden at center or maybe Zion Johnson at center.
Yep.
Okay.
And I did see that the Chiefs ended up drafting Audric Estime too. So I like him. Bruiser back. Good dude. But
he's slow as hell though, dude. He was like ridiculously slow.
I mean, that's going to push his draft stock back. I heard he's going to even get potentially 5th and 6th round, but that guy is a good, like, beastly type back that I think could be really good for those short yardage type situations. I would choose a third on him.
Same side is like, I don't really want a running back that can run 80 yards in, 6 seconds or whatever like that. I would rather have someone who could just get us that 10, 20. Yeah, that's very fast. I don't really care. I'm saying like I want someone.
That's fast.
Yeah, that's
real fast.
Whoa, that's quick.
Well,
you don't want a running back that fast?
I mean, what is that yard per second, dude? It's like
it's a lot.
Jeez Louise.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying is like because you're gonna go through all these big old dudes and stuff like that. Like why would you want someone that's just fast? Would you need to have someone who can break tackles? Getting first downs, off 10 yards, 20 yards or something like that. That's all you really need in a running back. Like you don't, that's more important to me is just someone that can actually break tackles.
And I've always looked at, say, like Marshawn Lynch, and I mean, I'm going to actually just look to see what his forward time was. He was a 4.46 running back, but that guy, man, I loved when he was on the Bills. I always felt like the guy was just an absolute violent runner, and I've always been a fan of his. Like he just puts it all on the line and just goes. And I'm good with that. You need physicality. You need a guy that could just go out there and just grind people away. And I think that's the idea of what they want for the Chargers too. So
you got to remember it's a gap scheme, right? So it's you want a big fat.
What was round 5? Matt Conglaves.
Yep. He's big, 6'6". That dude. Look at that guy.
Dude. Big dude.
Butt and gut, dude.
Big old boy.
Round 6.
Another cornerback from Ole Miss. We like them Ole Miss guys, dude.
Yeah.
We like them cornerbacks from Ole Miss. And then we got safety.
Mark Perry.
Safety and
you got that back in there, linebacker.
This, and then it's fitting that we draft a linebacker in the compensation pick right here.
So it's interesting. So the Ravens drafted 2 running backs in this draft too, by the way.
Makes sense.
And Ravens tend to like to do that. They double up on positions quite a bit. And I personally think the Chargers will do that. I mean, we drafted 2 cornerbacks. Actually, 2 cornerbacks or 3. You in positions of need, you're going to do that. I wouldn't be surprised if we find a way to draft 2 running backs this or at least draft 2 or basically sign 1 and then we end up drafting 1 more. So meaning adding 2 basically.
Well,
Right.
I think there's a lot to be said about a lot of this, right? And again, I think free agency is going to be a little bigger than we have really talked about up to this point. I think we could actually go after. I would like to get one of these centers in free agency because you want to solidify that position, especially when you're trying to run power. You're going to run these very specific schemes. Clearly, Will Clapp didn't do a great job. Of course, that was a zone read. It was zone read, completely different. You're just like, okay, block the guy in front of you. Whereas, gap, you're saying, okay, run A gap, B gap, C gap. This is where the play is going. They are particularly hitting a specific spot, right?
Yep.
And Kyle agrees with that. I just don't get me wrong. I like the idea of a rookie center, but they've been pretty damn good, right? And so that's the part that concerns me, right? So I would rather go and spend the money on a vet center, at least for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at how Corey Linsley, when he came here, he changed. Dude, we were so much better when he was out there. So much better.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
So I don't know. That's just my take on it. Okay, guys. Well, we're a little over an hour now. I kind of ran out of time to do an actual live mock draft, and then we always kind of go back and forth on that. So
Yeah.
So, but again, free agency, guys. There's going to see a lot from the Bolt Bros. As soon as news comes out, we're gonna throw some stuff out there at you, right? Because it's going to get spicy. Okay, it's we're at a barbecue restaurant with the extra spicy barbecue sauce, or Indian food with the or Thai food, you get what I'm saying, right? So, but my point is, I think it's going to be exciting to see, guys. I mean, look, what's the future with Bosa? What's the future with Allen? What's the future with Williams? Mac, guys. There's a lot to be said about all this. It's going to be exciting, guys. I mean, our team. When we talk about the draft, the free agency matters first. Then the draft matters second, because we have a whole month to figure things out veteran wise. Then who are we going to go in depth? So that's just my final thoughts. James Scott, who wants to go next?
I guess I'll talk. I just feel like, like you basically said it exactly kind of what I was going to say too, is like everything that we do in the draft depends on what we do on free agency. Who we're going to keep, who we're going to let go, who we might actually want to bring on board, that's really going to help us dictate what we should do with our draft. And when it comes to the draft, my opinion is I kind of feel like we probably should keep our position as a stick and pick, I would say, because here's the bottom line in my head is that, like, at 5, we're basically guaranteed the top player of any position in the draft, because we're, a lot of people are saying it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 quarterbacks. So we might actually just be able to get the top wide receiver, the top tight end, the top offensive lineman, top defensive lineman, top whatever you want. Like everyone's, we were basically getting a first round pick because of what it seems like every other team might go, and so that's why I think we may just be better off just doing a stick and pick. I mean, hey, at 5 before we got LT, and at 5 before we got Junior Seau.
Yep.
So we got 2 legends at 5 before. I think we could do it again.
Dude, well, I mean, like, you get Malik Neighbors or Marvin Harrison Jr., forget about it, dude.
Yeah.
Forget about it. I mean, literally forget about it. I mean, again, who we sign in free agency is going to say a whole lot. And Aether, get that $200 ready. Kyle,
hit that Venmo. Hit that Venmo.
Get that Venmo heated up. Get that Venmo heated up.
You just send it to the Bolt Bros, a $200 thing right there. Yeah.
There it is, $200.
Throw
that money in real quick.
$200 comment right there. Yeah.
Hey, no promises, Aether. No promises. I'm on the prowl. Let's go get it. Let's go get it.
Oh man,
you better get that bank up, mate. Yep.
All right, James. Final thoughts.
My final thoughts kind of goes back to what we chatted about already, about some of the guys that are making a lot of money on our team already. Big contracts that we got to deal with to free up some cash. I mean, my dream scenario is we find a way to be able to keep them for at least another year, or, have some sort of void base years for the next year or whatnot, or just players say, hey, look, I'm willing to just get paid less to be able to help out the team and free up some cash. So my hopes is that's what's going to happen, because look, if we get rid of, say, Khalil Mack and Bosa, I mean, what do we got for edge at this point? I mean, we'd hope to be able to get second round, third round type guys so we could actually fill those gaps in, or maybe there's some free agency side of things. But my thing, it would be awesome to be able to have everybody back for another year, keep who we currently have right now, draft the best possible player we possibly can, and just really build this thing out. Like, I'm really, really confident what Joe Ortiz is going to be doing here. I mean, right now he's the Batman. Jim Harbaugh is the Robin. This is his time to shine and time to make those right moves for this team. And I do think that's the reason why we haven't had much of adjustments at all on salary cap right now. I think they're talking to all the players and say, hey, you willing to take a salary cut? And we could just shift a little bit of money around because we got plenty of money in 2025.
Well, they got $60 million now, right? You could say, great, we'll give you $5 million now, and then we'll put the rest into it, just get underneath the cap, right? That would be a good thing too. So, but they got to have $12 million ready for the draft, right? You got to have $12 million sitting ready for the draft. So it's not, anyways, there's a lot of money that's got to be figured out. So
a lot of money. And I mean, scenarios that I've done, we could easily get into the $45 million base range of freed up money. There's ways you could do it. Now, I'm not a GM. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a CFO. I'm not any of that kind of stuff. So I don't know exactly how it all pans out. But based upon what I looked at, you could probably get into the $40 million range over the cap. And you could work a little bit from that point. So either which way, I'm looking forward to it, guys. I mean, we'll keep an eye out for any news that does come around because it's about to get muy caliente.
Ooh, there you go. Muy caliente.
Muy caliente.
Yep. So, hey, I like this little soundboard, Kyle. I like this soundboard. I like it.
Oh, what is that, dude?
That was fire.
Boss battle. All right, guys. Well, we are the Bolt Bros. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Okay.
Bolt Bros.
Let's go.
Let's go.